Welcome to TCGC and the master plan presentation. This has been an amazing work that's been put together by the House and Grounds Committee, John Graves and Associates, and our board of directors. Come on in and let's talk Clubhouse master plan. All right, we're here at the front entrance of our club. When the House and Grounds Committee started working through this master plan, one thing that was definitely evident and something we wanted to maintain was our main entry to our club. It has been near and dear to our members' hearts for many, many years, and how they enter the club and what that overall look looks like. So you'll see in the renderings, we wanted to continue to enhance with the windows and the ability to look into the club before ever entering the club. We've added some wonderful overhead. At times when you're underneath this portico, you're going to see there's not as much light as you would like. So you see some nice accents to the ceiling of the portico, a part of this as well. So one major thing we want to address at the entry for sure is our curb. If you have ever come to the club with anybody elderly, it's always a very nerve-wracking thing of the curb here at the front. So to try to make that as seamless as possible for people to be able to offload out of a vehicle and come into the front entry of the club. The other one that will be a great part of this project, if you've been a part of this club for a couple years now, is it's very difficult to get somebody in from a walker standpoint or even a wheelchair into the main entry of the club. By doing this project, we'll also be able to handle some of that ADA compliance and address automatic door openers, especially at the main entry of the club, which I think will be greatly appreciated from our membership at large. All right, welcome inside the clubhouse. We're going to talk about the entryway of the clubhouse. One thing that the committee really wanted to focus on is our first impression when you walk in the main entry of our club is this wall that backs up to our bar. The biggest one with this is we wanted to find a way to relocate this bar that allowed when members and guests come into the facility, their first look through this entryway is to American Lake. So you'll see in the next renderings that we have relocated this bar to allow for that. So now the entry will be able to walk in the main entrance of the club, and you will stare right through to a beautiful wall of glass that will allow you to see American Lake the minute you walk into our club. We're now here in the Lakeside Bar. As you know, coming into our club, you are welcomed into a nice foyer that then right away all you see is the backside of this bar. We wanted to address this with this master plan, so we relocate our Lakeside Bar just to the other wall over here off to the side, which will open up the space completely. It will allow the space to feel a lot more open. You'll have beautiful American Lake views the minute you walk into our club. And I think it'll be heavily utilized by our membership. And also, anytime you come for an event or things like that, it'll be a lot more of an open concept and feel. All right, we're here in the main dining room. As many of you know, this space was originally our restaurant space here at the club. And when we built the 1894 restaurant and grill, all of that shifted to the other side of the building, which is a great addition to this club. Wonderful dining space. I think everybody would agree it was a wonderful decision to move forward with that capital improvement down there. But this space we use for our events, and unfortunately it was not designed for event usage. It was designed to be a restaurant that maybe could convert at times for events. But now it's heavily used for our event space, and as you can probably imagine, coming in here and using a space that's designed for a restaurant is totally different than banquets. For example, the fireside room, a lot of times we set up for buffets, as you can see it's set right now. It's an underutilized space. We want to remove the dividing walls here and incorporate that space into the overall room. You would say immediately, well, that takes that tiny little corner. Nobody's going to want to sit there and be able to see. Well, the plan in this space is we're going to bump out the building towards the lake, and we're going to gain square footage that direction, which then will make that room a lot more usable as well and user-friendly. With that being said, we also have to address storage and some of those things, which I'll cover later on in the video. But you can see the partition wall is up right now. That will be an actual fixed wall. And the idea is that we'd have storage on the other side of it, which we'll cover in a little bit. With all that being said, that extension that's going to go out towards the lake would be just absolutely stunning. year-round and is a space that we can use. It's also has dual purpose. It's going to now give you a covered patio for the grill room. And when we go down to the grill room, we'll talk about that a little bit more as well. All right, we're here in the main dining room still, but we're talking about dance floor like I talked about earlier. We got to address this as a whole. I want to talk through operations. Sometimes as members, you don't know exactly the secret sauce on how everything's made. So we're going to talk about logistics a little bit. As a club as a whole, we have the 1894 restaurant. The majority of all of our cold storage is located here on the other side of the building, and it's in our banquet kitchen area. Now what happens is our staff have to come over here and shop for their groceries, if you will. Then they have to load up a cart, and they'll go down this hallway all the way down to 1894, and they'll enter into the kitchen down there and begin their prep for the day. Now, part of the problem with this, is you all have probably seen, is if we have an event that is fully using the main dining room, including this dance floor space for tables, our staff now, from a kitchen staff standpoint, has to go from the kitchen here, outside by the dumpster area, around the front of the club, all the way down to the 1894 entrance, back into the club, and then into the kitchen. This creates an obstacle in a lot of ways for our staff, for efficiencies. Not only that, I don't think it's the best look for the club when we have our food going out for a little tour around the front of our clubhouse. This new change would do a solid wall here and wall off the dance floor space, if you will. This will turn into storage, which is also a major problem that we have. If you notice, we're always prepping our event space for the very next event. That is great. That's a great practice for us as a whole, as a club. But there's a lot of things that we don't do because we don't have adequate storage. This would allow us to have adequate storage here on the dance floor location that would then allow our staff, no matter any time of the year or what events we have, always to stay indoors and go down this hallway to deliver food. With all of the conversations on the master plan, we thought, how can we change this freeway? And unfortunately, we are going to have to deal with this hallway being a freeway to food going down to 1894, but we can at least stop the obstacle of going outside, especially in the colder weather of wintertime as we are in now, and the weather of rain and those types of things is not ideal for food to go outside. So this is a wonderful change for operations. Hopefully this gives you some insights on why we would take away this dance floor and add that square footage over to the other side of this room. So we're going to talk a little bit more operations and logistics here at the club, and why this is important and part of the clubhouse master plan that we've put together to address the dumbwaiter. The dumbwaiter has been out of commission here at the club since 2007. It needs a major overhaul. We don't have a system that works, and in all fairness, we went down the path of getting bids on figuring out how we can address this and be able to have it operational, and it just costs too much. We need to put in a new one. So this is a perfect time to address the dumbwaiter as a whole. So as part of this project, we're going to put in a whole new dumbwaiter. I'm also going to show you a staircase, and this is a staircase that our staff walks up and down every time there's an event downstairs with food. And I want to make sure that everybody has a full understanding for hole-in-one or any of the events that we do down in the grill room, what that looks like. So when they run out of fish down there for hole-in-one, our staff is going back hallways, up the stairs, into the main kitchen here, grab that fish, back in the hallway, back down the stairs, and then out to the grill room downstairs to be able to address it. Once again, we're going to talk about logistics with the dance floor. If you recall, some people would say, well, why don't you use the elevator? We can if we don't have an event in MDR, but if we have an event happening in MDR, our staff would have to walk all the way out front of the building, walk around the main entrance, come in, then go to the elevator, then downstairs. Or they use the staircase that's right behind me. All of these things need to get addressed in this master plan. The dumbwaiter is going to help massively for safety for our staff and efficiencies. The dance floor location is going to help with storage, and then also efficiencies on being able to access all the different rooms when we have multiple parties, trying to maximize our revenue here at TCGC. I'm going to simulate what that looks like operationally for our staff. They're going to pick up a tray of food. They're going to turn around, they're going to pivot over here, they're going to open a door, come on through. And they're going to start to walk down these stairs holding a tray full of food. As you can see, it's very tight, very narrow. Watch your head here. And once they get down here, they're going to go all the way down to the grill room. And they're going to hand out their food, making that very difficult. As you can imagine, all of a sudden that food runs out. They got to go back up these stairs. So we're going to turn around. We're going to go right back upstairs. Corner. You can imagine how much more efficient this would be with that dumbwaiter, right? And also safe. Can you imagine staff going up and down those stairs simultaneously? It's an obstacle that we have to fix. All right, we're downstairs now. This is probably the most transformed space part of this master plan. So when we were working with our House and Grounds Committee, we kept looking at the club as a whole and trying to understand what spaces are we not using, and not only not using, but aren't using to their full potential. And the downstairs was one area we really wanted to focus on. Clubs have changed over the generations. Obviously, with COVID-19, there's a lot more people that work for remotely and need quiet spaces to potentially pull up a laptop and do some work. We also want a place to just gather and to be able to get together and maybe have a glass of wine or a cup of coffee. And the club can be that space. Right now, we ask our members to do that all in our 1894 dining room upstairs along with the bar. But this space down here, we felt like we could really transform into a multitude of uses. So I'm going to walk through it. It's a lot, and I'm going to try my best to describe it all because it has a decent amount of movement in walls. So as a whole, I'm standing right here. You have the grill bar off to the right. Behind us here, we have the grill room. And then down the hallway here, you have the card room and the board room. The concept down here is actually blowing out a lot of the walls. So where you have the card room right now and this wall here, that all gets blown out. So this is now a much open space. The card room as a whole, also the wall all the way down to the boardroom is exposed. Underneath the stairs, all gets blown out and incorporates that grill bar experience all in one here. So it's a nice multi-use space as a whole. The concept behind this was we have a space that has a water view to some extent and outdoor access and that we're not using. So how do we do our best to start to use that? I've referred to this several times. A lot of members have asked, what are we going to use that space for? And that's something ultimately you as members have to help us with input exactly what that looks like and what we use it for. Right now, I believe that those of you that have been to the Alaska Lounge, if you will, in the airports, something similar. We don't want a full food concept downstairs here because we don't have a kitchen downstairs, and we just covered obstacles upstairs with having multiple satellite kitchens in service. But we definitely want to have a bar. We want to have a place for people to grab a cup of coffee, maybe some prefix type cheese platters or something like that down here in that space. But this is a space members could come, they could do a little bit of work, and they could be able to use their club. And then after that, go out, hit some range balls, go down to the pool and join their kids at the pool or the family at the pool, go for a workout. The marks of a great club is a club where people can come in and start their day at the club and pretty much be there all day. That to me is an amazing mark of a great club with the right amenities for the membership at large. So there have been some questions about our staircase. There's a lot of members that love our staircase. We're going to try everything we can to preserve our staircase. It's going to stay in the exact same location. Just to clarify on that a little bit, is that the grill bar and the card room and the way that extension is going to flow moving forward is actually going to be underneath the staircase when we get back by the shoe room area. So that shoe room area is going to relocate into a locker room, so that way it's out of the way, and we can use that as a free-flowing space from the card room all the way over into the grill bar. It's going to be spectacular. All right, this is the grill bar. We love the grill bar. It's got so much patina, so much character, so many memories for our membership. We love this space. We just need to modernize this space. As you can imagine, originally, and some of you might know this, this space was used as the main bar for after golf and those types of things at the club. It was also put in the middle of the room with no windows, so at times it can be almost speakeasy-like, which is still a great feature. With this change though, you're going to see this wall here on the left totally gets exposed. And it's going to now be able to go all the way through to the card room, and you'll be in this space and be able to have a view out to our back lawn and also American Lake. I think this is a wonderful change, and it will give the club so many options long term in this space. We do want to still maintain that charm and that feel down here, so you'll see some of that in the visuals and those types of things as a whole. We're here in the card room, and want to walk you through this a little bit more. So that card room wall here on the right is going to completely be removed and open up this space and directly connect it to the grill bar. And we were just in the grill bar, so you can imagine that this space now is going to feel a lot more open. As you can see behind me, storage is an issue here at TCGC, and right now we get creative as possible for chairs and those types of things for banquet spaces. As we had talked about upstairs, we're able to address this with the dance floor now turning into banquet storage. All these chairs and extra tables and those things can now all be stored up there, and this space is all usable for our membership. Also too, if you can look through this view here in a minute, it is spectacular. As you can see in the renderings, this would have nano walls, if you will, that will open up. So this space in the summertime, or even in the winter if it's not too cold, you can open up and have an indoor-outdoor feel. It's going to be spectacular. And once again, a great mixed-use space for a membership at large. And many of you have probably not been down in the card room in a long time. It's not used. So how do we maximize this amazing space and be able to use it? And I think the House and Grounds Committee and the master plan as a whole does a great job of that. All right, we're here in the grill room. We're going to tie a bunch of things kind of together here a little bit. So upstairs we talked about the main dining room, right? And how we're going to extend square footage towards the lake. That now all of a sudden is going to give this space downstairs a covered patio, which will be spectacular. Some things that we wanted to address in the master plan, because each space that we've affected so far, you've probably understood that we had a reasoning of why addressing these spaces or making tweaks. One of the big ones in this space is heating and cooling is really difficult. So we definitely want to update that, and I think this covered patio is going to be spectacular down here and help with some of the shade and the sunlight beating into this room and making it extremely hot. So that was a wonderful byproduct of extending more space upstairs and getting us the size we needed there to getting us a covered patio down here. That being said, this is going to open up with some nano walls. You can have an indoor-outdoor space, which is spectacular and really versatile for events and member usage. The other one I want to talk about, obstacles. So as a whole, if you've ever come here for a wedding, if you think about it, the only way you can access our back lawn through the clubhouse is through the clubhouse, downstairs here, through this grill room, out these doors, out to the lawn. With this change, you'll see in the renderings here, we have a beautiful staircase. It's going to allow members to come in. They're going to come through the main entry of the club. They'll go through the lakeside bar, which we've already covered. And they're going to go outside on that patio lakeside bar and then downstairs to the lawn. So now you could potentially have an event out on the event lawn outside that then can transform straight upstairs to the main dining room. And at the same time, you have this beautiful space, the grill room downstairs here, that you can have another event happening at the same time. So we're not limited in how we can use certain spaces. And I think that's really key to maximizing revenue here at TCGC. Banquets accounts for roughly a third of our food and beverage revenue, which is a big part of our revenue as a club as a whole. And it's been great for our financial model. All right, we're in front of the men's locker room space, just to kind of give you a setting of where we're at. This is the shoe room area that we maintain polishing and all those types of things for shoes. But as we discussed earlier, that card room, this wall over here to the right, is all going to get blown out. So that card room is going to naturally extend right into the grill room here. Now the shoe room as a whole is going to relocate into the men's locker room. The concept behind that is this is in an odd spot if we want to combine the grill bar and the card room all together and open up this space. This room's got to go. All right, we're on our back lawn now. I'm really excited to kind of pull all this together for you. So We covered upstairs here in the main dining room space. The main dining room is now going to protrude towards the clubhouse. We're going to add a nice extension of square footage that's going to allow us to get the storage on the front side of our clubhouse. But with that being said, you now have a covered patio downstairs here for the grill room. We talked about some of the obstacles of being able to get from this event lawn into our event spaces for weddings and other events that we have, and how we have to disrupt other spaces throughout the club to be able to access them. That staircase is going to come straight down from this clubhouse, roughly in this general vicinity, so you can have access to the lawn space out here and also be able to get back inside without disrupting an event in the grill room or other parts of the club. You have the card room, which is right here. Imagine this space completely cleared out, nano walls that open up so we have access to these beautiful views of American Lake. Above here, we have the lakeside bar. That lakeside bar, if you recall, now opens up from the main entry. You walk into the club and you'll be able to see this beautiful view of American Lake year-round. Along with that, we had a patio that came off of the lakeside lounge, which now gives you somewhat of a covered patio below for our card room. Just the spectacular culmination of all of the things we talked about that really highlight what our mission and vision here at TCGC, and that is our accessibility to American Lake and our beautiful surroundings. All right, we're down here at the beach house. It is winter time, so it's a little chilly down here right now, but it's not bad actually. I want to talk about the beach house. This study was done by the membership long before I got here in 2020. But this study was, how do we revitalize the beach house? This is actually one of the oldest buildings on property. I look at this space and this view of what American Lake is from here, and you wouldn't be able to build something like this in the modern time. So let's use this to our advantage. As you can see in some of these renderings, we're in the same footprint that we're currently in. We have to maintain that. That's key to this project down here in a lot of ways. But doesn't mean we can't be able to maximize our potential. You'll see more dining space here as well that's outdoors. You'll also see on the bridge here a little bit more access for dining and those types of things. You'll see the kitchen as a whole in here get remodeled as part of this project. Right now, we currently cook on a flat top that's roughly, call it 3 feet by 3 feet for the entire pool. It's way too small for the amount of needs we have for the pool. If you've been down at the pool, you've probably noticed some longer ticket times and waiting for your food to come, maybe even a little bit more limited menu than what you'd like to see. With these changes, it will allow us to maximize that opportunity. The other thing I'm excited about, and that's something for future general manager to address, and also for the membership at whole to find out what they want to offer down here. But I do believe this can be another food outlet for us year round, especially if done right. This space here is not insulated at all. So in the winter months, it's quite chilly. In the summertime, it's quite hot. So by adding insulation to this building and getting it up to code a little bit better, revamping the kitchen space, I truly believe this can be a dining outlet year round. One thing that we talked about with the House and Grounds Committee is making sure that we addressed how do we get people from the main building all the way over and downstairs here, even if it's raining. So you'll notice in some of the renderings and things like that, there's a covered walkway that gets us all the way down here to the beach house. That's going to be spectacular for year round. I highly suggest that we look at this as more of a casual dining space where people can come, maybe catch a game, watch some sports on the TV down here, enjoy a pint and have some food. It's also a great space potentially for families to come down and dine. And as I talked about, this view down here, it doesn't get much better, as you all know. When I talk about this space down here, this is one of the biggest differentiators we have at TCGC. We have an amazing view that is lakeside, and we've got to capitalize on this. People would kill to have a restaurant this close to a body of water like we do. And I think that this master plan starts to address that. The biggest key down here, though, is we can't expand our footprint, so we got to deal with what we have. It's important that we all understand that. But we can certainly maximize that. I think we can find ways to maximize this patio seating outside. We can also maximize down below seating. We can also take advantage of the indoor space, which we'll go into next. you'll see it's very outdated and definitely needs a refresh. Now we're inside the beach house. The beach house here, we don't have any insulation in this building whatsoever. So one thing we'll address is adding insulation to this building, some HVAC, so that way we can keep temperatures at the right levels. As you can see right now, we have all of our summer storage in here for all the furniture that goes out on the pool. So I apologize for that, but it'll paint the picture for you a little bit how we can utilize this space in a better manner. It's amazing setting down here. You're basically waterside to American Lake. You couldn't build a building like this in the modern time. One thing we felt like was important with this master plan is prior boards, well past my arrival since 2020, had talked about was creating a larger dining space down here for people to access. I think it's a wonderful idea. It will give you a year-round dining experience that's waterside, that could be spectacular. That kitchen, larger kitchen down here, is going to help us service that. And also just updating this space. As you know, seeing it right now, or if you haven't been down here in a while, it's definitely dated and needs some love. So excited to be able to address that as part of this project and really just create an amazing food and beverage outlet for our membership and year-round usage. All right, I'm here in the pool kitchen. This is also known as the beach house kitchen. So I hit on it a little bit. Right now, we currently are servicing our entire pool space all summer long off of this tiny griddle, as you can see. Roughly about 2 feet by 2 feet, okay? This space is so small, it's so inadequate. You've probably noticed longer ticket times at the pool. And part of this remodel as a whole would address this. This would be a lot larger kitchen. And as we've talked about, we would expand this space down here from a kitchen standpoint that will allow for us to potentially have a year-round food and beverage outlet that's lakeside. It'd be spectacular.